crowd. Can everybody hear me? All right. My name's Phil Bellman. I live here in Bluff, just about a mile and a half north here, 2 miles. I don't really have suggestions. What I have is questions that I would like answers to in the rules. What kind of facility am I required to have? Can it be a freestanding building? Can it be in a shopping mall? Whatever. What kind of safes am I required? Do I need can a Fat Boy Junior safe work? Or do I need a bank vault? Delivery services. Are we going to be able to deliver our product from our store within our district? Am I going to be able to have a cannabis, as I heard it called, to where it's a portable store where I can go to Ellington or West Plains or Donovan if they don't have service there, to where I can sell product to customers there so they don't have to drive to Cape or wherever. It's pretty rural in this area. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for now.
Okay, very good. If you would jot those questions down, we can get you some answers. Again, we don't have all the answers yet. That's why we're gathering information. Some of our best rulemaking items have came from questions just like yours. So get your name and address or email on there, and we can get you some answers. Next, yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Justin Neely, managing member of N3C, Missouri Medical Marijuana Collective. We're an organization that will be operating here in the state of Kennett, Missouri, and I've read through the proposed rules and regulations for patient certification and caregiver certification, and I believe it would be a service to all of our patients, for individuals who will be operating dispensaries, to make sure that they have an individual to be somewhat of a patient advocate. Because I thought there was a great deal of burden that falls on prospective patients in order to receive their identification card. And I know that the process sounds to me like it will take a great deal of technological savvy, which might disenfranchise some individuals while they seek to get their patient identification card. So I hope that we can make this accessible to all patients.
Okay, very good. Yeah. You wouldn't care. Go ahead and give us a form there and put that comment on the paper for us. That'll help us take back to the department. Next.
Slow down. Downhill.
Good evening. I'm Dean Cornelius from Campbell, Missouri. I have a few questions about disabled veterans that are first care or primary care physicians are the VA. And according to the rules, you have to have a primary care physician's authority. The VA is not going to do that. So I would have to go to an outside doctor. And in that case, that would not be a primary care. I'm just curious how this is going to work for veterans, if at all.
I'll go ahead and answer that for you. So that is correct, and that's something that we can't control. That's the VA's, obviously, their connection to the federal government. But you would have to get another doctor for that, and certainly very understanding. Sympathize with you on that. That would be the answer for sure.
Considering that's not a primary care physician.
Right.
But that would still count if you went to another physician.
Yes, you could.
Outside.
Yes, you can still. They would become your primary in this particular instance for this particular issue. That's
Okay.
right.
One final question,
Uh-huh.
and this has to do basically with everyone, and it's driving. How is the laws going to work with driving? With the different amounts? Can you drive at all? Considering that allegedly the marijuana was staying in the system for 42 hours or longer, does this mean you're no longer able to drive? And is this going to be on your driver's license? That's it.
Thank you. We are in communication with the law enforcement community, and those things are also being worked out. I will tell you that, but I don't have all those answers yet.
Okay.
Thanks.
Do you want me to write that down?
If you don't mind, let's give you a form, and yeah, he's got the form there. That'd be great if you wouldn't carry it. Yes, sir.
I knew I had more.
It's fine. Looks like we got time tonight.
I forgot to say thanks to everybody in Missouri. You guys got a fine job on this.
Thank you.
Kudos to the citizens of Missouri. I would ask these guys here too, is our doctors going to be required that if the patient has been through all other treatment, that is the doctor or the system for which they work to be required to allow them to request medical marijuana? Because I've spoken to 2 different hospital groups, and they both said that they're not going to allow their physicians to write scripts.
Yeah, I can answer that. We will not have any authorization or any control over the medical community. That'll be totally their choice. They fall, the doctors fall under the Board of Healing Arts, which is not Department of Health. So you may find some that won't, but some of it may be because of the ties to the federal government and the funding they receive and that type of thing with the hospitals. But yeah, that'll strictly be up to the docs on that.
All right, thank you.
You bet. I want to thank Three Rivers Community College for allowing us to come tonight. They've been fantastic. It's a great facility, and they were very willing to have us come and see and speak. So we certainly want to thank them and the folks that are back there helping us with all the setup and equipment. We really appreciate it very much. And we want to thank you all for coming tonight too, because you took time out of your evening, and we appreciate that. So, another one? Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, I'm John Payne. I live in St. Louis, and I'm actually from Poplar, Bluff originally. I was also the campaign manager for New Approach Missouri, which passed Amendment 2. A few comments on the proposed rules from on the patients and caregivers. One, that there's a requirement in there talking about that patients need to bring any excess medical marijuana to dispensaries to have it disposed of. And I certainly think there needs to be a process for how that's handled. But the one thing I think we want to avoid is making that in any way more economically burdensome on the patient. And so, I could see a dispensary saying, okay, well now we have to dispose of this. We're going to charge for that process. And so, I think we just want to be sensitive to that to make sure we don't price anybody out over those issues. Also, one thing on the penalties for if you have some sort of administrative penalty put against you for misusing the card in some way. It seems to go immediately to revoking the card entirely. And I think that might be a little bit punitive, at least on the patient ID cards. I can understand that with the patient cultivation cards, because that would probably entail that they're selling it in some way, and that makes sense that they're to revoke their right to have the card for that. But just if they've misused it in some way as a patient, maybe there could be a medium penalty in there before jumping straight to revocation. Particularly, I think one of the penalties was actually for life, and seems very harsh. And then finally, I had a lot of feedback from people that said, there's something in there that says that the election of a patient, and this is 2.8.9 in the rules, that they can put down if they are currently eligible for any state benefits. And now I believe that the reason that you guys put that in there, and I think this is admirable and relevant to some feedback that you got at the Jeff City Forum, is that we want to have some way for dispensaries to identify low-income patients and provide some benefit to them, which is discussed in the amendment. So I think that's really good. I know a lot of people responded to that and said, well, why do they want that information? And so it might help if there's in the final draft of the rules, if it clarifies, here's what that information is for and here's how we'll use that to allay those concerns. Because if there's going to be a compassionate use program, I absolutely think there should, we don't want patients to be fearful that they're going to somehow be punished for taking part in it. So that's all I have for now.
Good questions there, John. If you wouldn't care to sure and jot those down for us.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I will definitely take those back, as I will with all the rest of the rule makers. Appreciate you looking at the rules we've got out there already. as I said, we'll try to release these on our website as we get them drafted, and those should be coming out periodically in the next few weeks. So check our website.
Will you email us when there are new updates on the website? Since we gave you our email.
There'll be we can't do that individually. I don't think we have our system won't let us do it as a group. So obviously, I will tell you, this lady right here is taking phone calls and emails every day to where she can't hardly keep up. And I want to mention something else to you. In Arizona, we visited with Arizona about their program because they're a medical-only state. And they're about the same size, but they're a little bigger than Missouri. They're about 7 million people, but they have 190,000 medical marijuana patients. Now, if you do the math, 190,000, divide that by the number of business days in a year, and they have to renew those cards annually. They're processing somewhere between 600 and 900 cards a day. And so it takes a big staff just to take care of that. And they also take about 5,000 phone calls a month, just the medical marijuana in Arizona. So you can see how much time it takes for us just to do that office paperwork, processing, and answering calls and questions. So, but we'll check that website because it's easy to do, and those updates will be on there regularly.
One thing, if you're on Twitter, follow the Twitter account of the department. They post, if they have an update, they usually post it there on Twitter.
Yeah, good point, John. Follow Twitter. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'd like to address some of the questions that have been posed regarding physicians and patient certification. I'd like to let everyone know that my group has been working very hard to ensure that patients will be able to receive certification. We've networked with a group of pain clinics called Advanced Pain Clinics, and I know that their doctors will be certifying patients. Furthermore, we're looking to have a digital certification network set up through our affiliated dispensaries that will be conducted out of our location in Kennett, Missouri. I'm hoping that we can have our doctors certify patients via Skype or some other form of telecommunication, as the rules and regulations have not identified that will not be allowed.
Very good. Very good. Technology certainly is going to play a big role in this whole program, as you can expect. So,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Infused facilities. How many are required or allowed, or minimums to be allowed?
Those would be the manufacturing licenses, and the amendment states that there has to be 1 per 70,000 Missouri citizens. So right now, that's somewhere around 82 or 83 manufacturing facilities.
Now, will a dispensary be allowed to have a manufacturing facility that is strictly for that dispensary?
We will allow what we call a vertical system or facility, and that means that the cultivation, the manufacturing, the dispensary would all be able to be attached or connected, but it would require 3 licenses. As a matter of fact, a lot of the cultivation facilities that we've seen have the manufacturing for sure attached. It's almost like it's just another room or 2 or 3, and that way it's all done there in one facility in many cases.
This is a question.
Yeah,
We're
go
going to
ahead.
do a question and answer now. If I live in the St. Louis district as an example, and there's a ton of people that have applied up there, and there are more licenses allowed in that district. If I live there, can I say, well, there's only 14 in District 8, I'm going to put one down there? Is that going to happen?
Your pre-application fee had I think the question on the form was, where do you anticipate or what proposed location do you have? But that's not set in stone. You can change that with the application. So I guess in answer to your question, yes, you could move that location with the big application that comes out on August but you have to turn back in on August 3rd. We should have the application form out there with the rules on June the 5th. That's our plan, June the 4th. But so yes, to answer your question, I believe that would be correct because you can change your location from what it was on the pre-application fee. Mhm.
If I'm understanding this question correctly, you're asking that if an individual is applied on their application for a dispensary license in St. Louis, can they then take that application that has been denied in St. Louis and bring it to this area?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you meant if you had.
St. Louis is all sold out.
Yeah.
All sold out.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna take mine, I'm gonna go to.
Yeah,
Poplar.
it would require a whole new application.
Okay.
And I don't know that we would have any more by that time. Well, what our plan is, and again, we don't have all the roads done, so, but the plan would be there will be a window on August the 4th, actually August the 3rd. There'll be a window that you can fill out those applications and get them turned back into us. I can't tell you what the window will be, but there'll be a period, because we want to get those back in and start processing, reviewing, and then start issuing license and have that all done before December 31st according to it. So, I guess, yeah, I'm glad you corrected me on that, because I misunderstood you. So, yeah, it would require a whole new application.
So I guess I can just stand right here. But so one thing that we were thinking of when we drafted the amendment is that if a lot of these applications, people will be submitting multiple applications, but a lot of the information could be the same over each of them because if it's the same team applying. And so one thing that and I don't have a bullet, silver bullet for how to do this, but to streamline that is if it's a 8 license application that here's all the information that is the same in these across these 8 licenses, and then differentiate across the location specific parts of them, and that's I don't have an exact way of how you might go about doing that, but that might save you some time because I know it's going to be burdensome to have to read hundreds of pages of applications throughout this process. So
I won't answer that one. You just put it down on paper for me, and I'll take it back. But I don't know what we would do there. I should be answering questions if I don't have the answer from you.
I was just recommending.
Yeah, no, I understand. I wouldn't do this normally, but since it's such a small group and we have some time, I'm trying to help you all the best I can here. Anyone else? As those of you that know that Jeff City, it was all we could do to get everybody's, there was a lot of speakers in Jeff City, so we're cognizant of everyone's time. Yes, sir.
I think there's, on the home rule, there might be a problem. I think it says you're allowed 6 plants, but the amount that you're allowed to have of flower might be less than what 1 plant would produce if you did a really good job. You can must grow 3 pounds in 1 plant. So, what do you do then? I think what's the possession limit for a patient that's growing 6 plants?
It's 4 ounces if they purchase it. Is it 4 ounces for the?
It's up to a 90-day supply, I believe.
Yeah.
If it's grown, but now that cannot be the property where the patient cultivation occurs.
Right, but what happens if your plants produce more than what your 90-day supply is? What my question is. Sorry.
Well,
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it's nothing you need to worry about.
Well, and of course, there's so much variance in the plants too. We've seen pictures of plants that'll produce 25 pounds of marijuana a year. I know that's unusual. Looks like a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
But so there is a lot of variance with that. But
it may not.
yeah, well, it's worth jotting down and sending to us if you don't care. It'd be fine. A lot of unanswered questions. This is why we're doing this, because our best thoughts have came from folks like yourselves, best ideas and concerns, and it's helped us a lot in the rules. So, but I sure want you to send it in because that way we can get them to the real makers.
on that subject,
Yeah.
and this is outside my area of expertise, but a lot of the things that I've been told by people that are talking to me about it is that the 12 non-flowering plants on the patient cultivation is, or 6 non-flowering plants, is somewhat insufficient to maintain a number of 6 flowering plants. And so I heard, from people that I trust and rely on for this sort of information, that 12 non-flowering plants might be a better.
Is that because you don't get 1-for-1 harvest on the starter plants?
You would need to have some other plants to donate clones, and depending upon what you're going to qualify as an actual plant, if you had unrooted cuttings that were developing roots to be able to replace your flowering plants, you would not be able to keep a perpetual cycle going with the numbers that are currently allowed.
Okay.
That is, he knows more about it than I do.
Yeah. Could you send that into us?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, on the flowering, yeah, but the starters aren't. Yeah. Yeah, the six.
Yeah, Cheryl just mentioned that the 6 flowering plants, of course, are mandated by the Constitution, but the starter plants aren't.
That's correct.
So, but we're spelling that out in the rules. Yeah. Yes, sir?
Transportation from the cultivator to the dispensary.
Mhm.
Is there gonna be licenses for that?
There will be certifications. Yeah, we're not gonna call it licenses because the amendment just calls for the 3 licenses, cultivation. But we will be certifying that, and I don't have all the particulars, but you know, there'll be definitely, we want to make sure and have it secure and have things in place to keep, you know, the seed to sale system that's mandated. The numbers will be assigned to the batches and the plants, and they'll have to be tracked all the way to the end. So, yes.
I had a question and just lost it. Oh, patient tracking to make sure they're not going from dispensary to
Yes.
dispensary.
Yes.
They're gonna have a program
Yes.
where we can scan their card, put them in
Yep.
the system.
It'll be live, so
Is it
real time. Hmm?
Will it be a subscription, or is it just something that the state will have to offer to the dispensaries?
Don't have the answer to that yet, out the details, but there will be an electronic system that will be real time.
I had a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, sir.
The seeds and clones.
Mhm.
Have you got any ideas of how these growers are gonna start?
Immaculate conception.
Exactly.
We've heard them all, you know, and we haven't nailed that down yet, but we're very aware of it and we're working on it.
I like you.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Let's say you have a cultivation site, for example, and John over here has 2 or 3 dispensaries that he needs product from. And the cultivation site has the line of manufacturing and its own dispensaries. But we have extra product, so that product could go to John's dispensary.
Definitely, because there'll be dispensers that are only want to be dispensers, and they'll have to buy their product from licensed cultivators. Yes.
I thought I understood.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Will there be a list of cultivators and manufacturers that as a dispensary only operator, I can say, call them and say, I need X amount of this, and this?
Yeah, I'm sure those contacts will all be out there eventually. I mean, people are gonna know who's in the business. But, you know, I would recommend that. Yeah, once the license are issued, all that information will be out there, absolutely.
Be available publicly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I just want to touch on the issue about the non-flowering plants again, because
Yeah.
as a caretaker, especially if you are a caretaker and you have limited resources to work with, it's extremely labor intensive to identify beneficial strains or phenotypic expressions of genotype, if you will. And once you find them, you do not want to lose them. So I think that it's an undue burden to place on the individual to tell them that once they locate a very valuable and useful strain for them to treat patients with, that they need to relinquish that in order to have other plants take its place. It would really be beneficial if individuals were allowed to maintain those genetics as long as they needed to. I think it would be, it could be useful to get rid of the non-flowering plant limit, because it's not going to play a factor in production.
The non-flowering plant limit, the seedling, the starter plants?
Yes.
Yeah.
All that's going to do is allow a person to have more strains available to treat specific issues.
Okay. Can you jot that down for me?
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah. Yes,
The
sir.
state is only allowing 2 test facilities?
No, that's the minimum that the amendment called for, but we're looking at more on that, and I don't have an answer yet, but
And
yeah.
whose responsibility will it be to have the product tested for purity and content? Will that be on the cultivator, or will it be on the dispenser to make sure that what he is selling is of the proper
There will be some state guidelines and regulations. I can't give you those specifics yet because I don't know, but there will be, yeah. We have to protect the citizens of Missouri. That's what our job as the Department of Health is. Yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming the state will be using a form of gas chromatograph to do the testing procedure, and I would like to lobby the state to make the standard that they use to calibrate their gas chromatograph available to individuals who are operating their own production facilities, so that we can test our product versus the same standards the state will be using.
Yeah, so homegrown cultivators can take them to a facility to have them tested? Is
No,
that-
specifically so that large-scale producers will be able to test their product before they send it to, using the same standard that the state is using, before they send it into the state for testing.
Okay, now, the state will not be doing the testing. This will be privately owned businesses that will actually be the testers.
They'll be licensed by the state, correct?
Yes, they'll be licensed by us.
So if we are going to be mandated to have our product tested by a licensed testing facility, I would like to have access to the same standard that facility is calibrating their gas chromatograph to. Otherwise, I cannot collect my own data.
Okay, jot that down. We'll take that back. We will be in St. Louis tomorrow night at the St. Louis Community College in Florissant Valley, from 5 to 8. We'll be next week in Kansas City at UMKC down by the plaza on Holmes Street. Yeah, Pearson Auditorium. And then the following night will be in Springfield at Ozark Technical Community College from 5 to 8. So if any of you have friends in those areas and would like to come, we'd love to have them. Yes.
How do you explain the difference, 300 in Jeff City and here? I mean, are you advertising this in some way? Does the public even know this?
Yeah, it's been, I think, of course, the Jeff City one, there was a lot of people, industry people, and just folks around the state government, you know, that probably got wind of it maybe. I think there was a lot of people that traveled, even from your part of the state, and certainly we know from Kansas City and St. Louis that came there, not knowing we were going to do more of them, I suppose. And we didn't know we were either. We just felt like it was such a success and that we wanted to give all Missourians an opportunity to be able to attend one.
We're glad you did.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. These ladies, you know, it's easier for me than it is for them to leave their homes and children and all that. So, but yeah, we're glad to do it, and we want to make sure people, you know, have that opportunity. But it's been out on the website. It was on, I know, several publications that newspapers have printed and put it out there. So maybe down here, maybe specifically, there weren't some papers that got it out there very fast. I don't know, but I know in some of the other communities they did. So.
Down here, everything still goes across the telegram.
Well, this is a beautiful facility, great college here. So we appreciate it. And we looked at HR, we looked here, and it felt like Poplar Bluff was just a little bit more centrally located for the boot deal. I mean, kind of felt like it was a little more easy to drive to, so from, you know, West Plains and the various other communities around. We really appreciate it, and again, you all know our website. Feel free to send us that information. Email, check that daily. We want to be a resource for you. And I'm sorry we don't have all the answers yet, but we are working on them, and we have a lot more answers today than we did 30 days ago or 60 days ago when I started. So we're working it, and we want to be the best. We want to have the best industry in the nation, and I think we're well on our way with that. In comparing and talking with other states, Arkansas passed their bill 2 years ago, and they're still on it, and some others are just are a lot slower out of the gate, so we feel real good where we're at. It's taken a great team, and we're really fortunate to have a great team. We really are. Dr. Williams, director, has done a great job of, helping to educate people. He's an MD, so he understands the medical side, and he's a great partner to have also. Well, thanks again. We really appreciate it. Thanks again, Three Rivers. We'll see you again soon. Thanks again.